in a world
George, can you help me set up my recording studio?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
where VO artists are stuck in their closets.
Is there a way to improve the quality of my audio files?
Oh, yeah.
And they need to deliver finished audio tracks.
You are my hero.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet.
There is one man who takes it all on.
Studio time, excellent. Whittam's World.
Whittam's World, rated VO.
Hey everybody, George Whittam reporting for Whittam's World. Well, this week I've got a couple questions that were related, so I thought I'd do a twofer. Actually, maybe it's the old kill two birds with one stone. I think we might need a better saying for that, don't you guys think? It's about time we kind of say goodbye to that horrible saying. Anyway, two of you asked a question about a similar topic, so I got a question from Lee at Listen Up Voiceovers as well as Steve Hearn. Both asked questions about compressors. Lee said, I just watched your vlog, it was really good. I have a question, is it better to use a hardware compressor limiter than one in a DAW? I was thinking that compressing and limiting the signal before it goes into the DAW is going to have less impact on the noise floor and output quality. Am I right or wrong? And Steve said, do I need to use a hardware compressor for a voice? I have one installed in line and have been playing with the features but can't decide if a clean recording would be better. In other words, clean, I guess, no compressor. So these are good questions. Compressors are, the job of a compressor is to limit the dynamic range of the audio. In other words, how loud the soft and the loud parts of the audio are and the differences between the two. So the more compression is used, the less dynamic range there is. So the difference between the quieter part and the louder part will be less after compression is applied. Why that's handy is because it will level out the audio so that when you're reading a little bit softer and then reading louder, the levels are a lot more consistent. And it can just, in the end, make a perceived increase in the volume of your audio. But recording with one up front versus processing on the back end is definitely something that's up for debate. If you do it on the front end, the good thing about it is it can be a little bit of a crutch. You know, if you're trying to record as close to that magical -6 dB or -3 dB reference volume that we often normalize to, that can be really hard to do, especially if you're doing something like a character voice where there's a lot of variation in volume. And it can be really challenging to get a nice hot signal. So some people will use a compressor as sort of a crutch, so to speak, so that you don't have to ride or really carefully set the gain going into your recording software beforehand. That will just kind of smooth things out for you so you don't have to be too concerned about clipping or going right into the zero range. It will round it off for you a little bit before you reach that. But never use more than, say, a 2-to-1, maybe 2.5-to-1 ratio compressor because you want it to be very smooth and not obtrusive, and you don't want it to stand out. Thing to remember is compression cannot easily be undone. It's very difficult to reverse the effects of compressors. So if it's done incorrectly and you record through a compressor, you're stuck with it. And likewise, your client may not be happy with the results. So for that reason, overall, I usually recommend processing after the fact digitally in the recording software using effects presets. And the beauty of that is, of course, you can undo, you can save multiple versions, you can save presets and recall them as many times as you want. So does the quality differ between the two? All things being equal, not really. As long as you're using them appropriately, the sound quality and the outputted noise floor and just the resulting file will not sound much different whether you process on the front end, inline, through a compressor or a channel strip, or on the back end in your DAW or recording software. Keep sending in your ideas for the blog, and I'll keep recording these videos. This is George Whittam from Whittam's World. Take care, everybody.